Hi, my name is Christy Eklund, and my research proposal is about local history librarians and if they can help increase a community's engagement in their library and in their community's history. So my hypothesis is that by employing a dedicated professional local history librarian in a full or part-time role, this person can help increase the community's awareness and involvement in the public library, as well as increase public interest in accessing and preserving the community's history. So in case you're wondering why I picked this topic, it was pretty much for selfish reasons. My current job is great, but I'm pretty obsessed with genealogy research, and I would love to be a genealogy/local history librarian. So I wanted to see if this was a feasible goal, if there are actually any opportunities out there for this kind of position. So some other objectives I formulated for the study were to find out the duties of this type of librarian, to see how prevalent or not this librarian position is in Michigan public libraries, to see how effective this librarian can be in a local community, and also to make administrators aware of the opportunities and relationships this librarian can help form between a public library and its community. So my first step was to review the professional literature to see what, if anything, had been written about local history librarianship. I found 4 common threads discussed in the literature, including standards and guidelines, local history collections themselves in public libraries, local history librarianship, and community outreach and engagement. So it turns out there are quite a few standards and guidelines about the establishment of local history collections, and they all include some mention of staffing recommendations. The history section of the American Library Association's Reference and User Services Association created a document called Guidelines for Establishing Local History Collections in 1979, and it recommended professional staff for a library's local history collection. Standards from the UK and Australia also encourage collection management by qualified staff. So much of the literature discussed the establishment, organization, and maintenance of local history collections themselves. Also, Marquise and Wagner warned that this type of collection could be a valuable local resource, or it could be a drain on staff and budget. It could also be a useful set of research materials, or a special collection that no one knows how to handle and remains unused, all depending on how a library decides to manage it. Many authors recommended a librarian assigned to the local history collection with only local history duties and a master's degree. If this wasn't possible, training for staff involved with the collection was necessary. And in this time of reduced budgets, sometimes it's not even possible to have a part-time, non-professional staff member for this type of collection. A lot of libraries have had to depend on volunteers for local history collections. Clark and McAferry discussed the need for more courses about reference and management of local history collections in North American library schools. Meanwhile, Dixon in the UK and Robinson in Australia described that there's been a cutting back of local history studies courses and certificates in universities. Community engagement is an important priority for public libraries. It's a way to show the relevance of the library to the community, and 3 methods of engagement mentioned in the literature included programs, projects, and donation opportunities. These help to create a virtual sense of place and to tell stories that McRitchie explained don't always make it into official histories. And I included in donation opportunities the chance for community members to tell their story, to tell oral histories of the places where they grew up, where they live, to donate home movies to be digitized so that people can have a link to the community's history and actually have a stake in preserving it. The research method for this study is a quantitative online survey of about 9 questions, which seeks to compare the number of library programs and the average attendance at each before the hiring of a local history librarian and after. I've collected job descriptions from Michigan Public Libraries for this type of position, so I would send the survey to these specific libraries. And I plan, if that doesn't get me enough data, to also ask for participants from the MichLibL email discussion list, which is for Michigan libraries and moderated by Library Michigan staff. So in conclusion, genealogy, local history, family history, they're all very popular right now. And our libraries have become places to collect and access items that are unique to a community's history. So I hope that this study can support the idea that a local history librarian can help increase a community's awareness of their history and want to become more involved in learning about it. So thanks for listening, and here's my email if anyone has questions. And here are some references that I mentioned in this presentation if you're interested in any of them. And thank you again.